Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a John Cena statue. Oh, and by the way, just in case you have any more building related needs, I would highly recommend checking out the card system. I don't have a playlist for this, but I'll be linking two specific videos in there that I think that you guys might really enjoy. I'll be linking my WWE wrestling ring, which you might also see in the background of this video, a little bit unfinished, and I'm also going to link the WWE logo that I've made. You might want to check those out. I'll also be linking some other videos and playlists in there that I think that you guys might really want to check out as well. But moving on, if you want to make John Cena, here's what you're going to need. You will need some black stained clay and some brown stained clay. Grab light grey clay, white stained clay, flip over, grab yourself some black wool, light grey wool, grab dark blue, lime green wool. You're also going to need some white wool, and I do believe that we'll even need a colour or two more than that, but unfortunately this is all we can carry, isn't it? So once you have each one of those materials right there, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, I'll be making it right here, you're going to want to kick off Mr. Cena with a row of 8 light grey wool in a row on the floor. That's 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just like that. Now, once you have your row of 8, you then, stacking directly on top of it, want to do a row of black wool. Then for the next row on top of that, going from left to right, do 1 black wool, 2 light grey, 2 black, 2 light grey, 1 black. Then for the next row, do an additional row of black wool. Then for the next row, going from left to right, do 1 light grey, or 1 white stained clay. Then do 2 black wool, 2 white clay, 2 black, 1 white clay. For the next row, do an entire row of white stained clay. Then do 6 rows of dark blue wool. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we have the pleasure of filling all of these in. And this will take us all the way up to the bottom of John Cena's torso. So these are the shorts that he's wearing. Once this is done, we can start wearing on his... I don't know why this sounds creepy. I just said it in my head before I said it. We can start working on his shirtless body. Anyway, for the next row, after you've done your 6 rows of dark blue wool, going from left to right, do 2 white clay, followed by 4 light grey clay, then 2 white clay. For the next row, do 1 white clay, 1 light grey, 1 light clay, 2 light grey, 1 white, 1 light grey, 1 white. For the next row, do 1 white clay, then 6 light grey clay, 1 white clay. For the next row, do 1 white clay, 1 light grey, 1 white clay, 2 light grey, 1 white clay, 1 light grey, 1 white clay. For the next row, do 1 white clay, 6 light clay, 1 white clay. For the next row, do 1 white clay, 1 light grey, 1 white clay, 2 light grey, 1 white clay, 1 light grey, 1 white clay. And for the next row, do 3 light grey clay, 2 white, 3 light. For the next 3 rows, do this colour combination, do 3 white clay, 2 light grey, 3 white clay, and like I said, that's for 3 rows, so what I'm going to do is the white clay first, followed by the light grey clay, so there we go. Then, for the next row, after you have done 3 repetitions of this row, going from left to right, do 3 light grey, 2 white, 3 light grey. And for the final row of John Cena's torso, do an entire row of white stained clay, but don't stop there. Take this right end block and go right of it with your white stained clay. Continue on by 4, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then underneath this row of 4, do another row of 4. Then underneath that, do a row of lime green wool. Then underneath that, going from left to right, do 1 white clay, 2 light grey, 1 white clay. Underneath that, going from left to right again, do 1 light clay, 2 white, 1 light. Underneath that, do an entire row of light grey clay. Underneath that, do 1 white, 2 light, 1 white. Underneath that, do 3 solid rows of lime. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Then, underneath that, to finish this off, do 2 solid rows of white stained clay. And what you'll end up with should look a little bit like that. And that is just John Cena's arm. Once you have that first arm taken care of, you could probably figure out we have to do the other arm now. So come all the way up to the top left hand side of the statue, the first block of this row this time, and go left of this by 4 with the white stained clay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then underneath that, do another row of white. Underneath that, do a row of lime. Then underneath that, going from left to right, do 1 white, 2 light, 1 white. Underneath that, do 1 light, 2 white, 1 light. Do an entire row of light grey. For the next row, do 1 white, 2 light, 1 white. Then do 3 solid rows of lime. That's 1, 2, and 3. Then do 2 rows of light grey of white stained clay. That'll be 1 and 2, and that should take us all the way to the bottom of the arm and give us something which should look exactly like that. And that is pretty much the entire front of our John Cena statue, minus the head, of course. Once you have that taken care of, this is what you want to do next. Come all the way around the back of your statue and come all the way down to the bottoms of the feet. Take each one of the bottom 2 corners of the feet with your light grey, extend them out of the back of the statue each by 3. So this end block here, 1, 2, 3, and the other end block here, 1, 2, 3. Then connect each one of those third blocks together, and that will give us the platform that we need to build up the entire rest of the statue. So we'll build up the entire back of the statue first of all, exactly how we did the front of the statue, then we'll do the sides and the head, then we'll admire our beautiful statue. So on top of this row of 8 light grey, we'll stack 3 rows of black. So as I've done there, 1, 2, 3 rows of black. So that'll be 1, 2, and 3. After that, do 2 rows of white stained clay. That will be 1, and that will be 2. Then do 6 rows of dark blue. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we just want to fill these in. These are the backs of the shorts that John is wearing. So we're just going to fill these in. We don't have many rows of this left to do we? We just have the 1. There we go. Perfect. Then for the next row, do an entire row of white stained clay. For the next row, going from left to right, do 2 white clay, 1 light grey, 2 white, 1 light grey, 2 white. Then for the next 3 rows, do 3 solid rows of white. So that'll be 1, 2, and 3, and this will be 1, 2, and 3. Then for the next 4 rows, do this row. Do 2 white, 1 light, 2 white, 1 light, 2 white, and we want this for 4, so that'll be, we already have 1, so that'll be 2, 3, 4, and that'll be 2, 3, 4, and then we've just got to fill these in as we do, so we just want to have something which should look a little bit like that. Perfect. Then, for the next row, going from left to right, do 2 light grey clay, 4 white, 2 light grey. For the next row, do 3 white, 2 light, 3 white. And for the final row of the back, do an entire row of white clay. Except, guys, you know what's coming. Except, take this very end block that we just placed in this row and continue going right of it by 4 with the white clay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then underneath this row of white, do an additional row of white. Then underneath this, do a row of lime. Underneath this, do 2 rows of white, so that will be 1 and 2 rows of white. For the next row, do 1 light grey, 2 white, 1 light grey. For the next row, 1 white, 2 light grey, 1 white. Then do 3 rows of lime, that will be 1, 2, and 3. Then do 2 rows of white stained clay, that is 1, and that will be 2. To give us this. That's the back of the arm. Very similar to the front of the arm, but ever so slightly different. It's basically like a couple of rows difference, really. Once you've got that taken care of, let's do the other arm. So coming all the way up to the top left-hand side this time, coming from this corner block, we want to go left of this by 4 of the white stained clay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. We then want to, underneath this, do an additional row of white. Then underneath that, a row of lime. Then do 2 rows of white stained clay. That will be 1, and that will be 2. For the next row, do 1 light grey, 2 white, 1 light grey. For the next row, 1 white, 2 light grey, 1 white. Then do 3 rows of lime, that's 1, 2, and 3. Then do 2 rows of white, that is 1 and 2, to give us something which should look a little bit like that, and that is John Cena's back. Once you have his back taken care of, it's now time for us to work on the rest of this, so now we have both of the sides to do. Come to this side of your statue. The legs are quite easy to work out. We're starting at the bottom, by the way, although it doesn't really matter. The legs are quite easy to work out because whatever colour you have on the left and right of you, you'll want to apply that to the centre block. So you can see where we have black, we've just placed black. Where we have white stained clay, we have white stained clay. And now where we have blue, which will take us all the way up to the middle part of the statue, we have placed blue. Easy enough, right? That is the legs. For the arms, we want to, of course, fill in the under part of the arms with our white stained clay. And then, for the arms, we want to do a similar thing, except the only 2 colours we want to use are white stained clay. So we want to match the green sections together, so where he has, like, his armbands, and, like, I guess this is still an armband, but it's closer to a shoulder, where he has his armband and, like, the shoulder band, or whatever you want to call it. We want to match those green parts together, but other than that, we just want to fill the rest of the arm in with white stained clay. This also applies to the top of the arm. The top of the arm we want to come in by 3, 1, 2, 3, just like we did for the bottom of the arm, 1, 2, 3. We want to fill that in with white stained clay, and we'll end up with something that should look a little bit more like this. And you know what would be a little bit more realistic, to be honest with you, is if we had like a little bit of musculature there, which is what the light grey clay represents, but not really necessary. I think that looks a little bit better, actually. It breaks it up a little bit. But there you go. That is what you want to connect together on this side of the statue. Do the same on the opposite side. So coming to the opposite side, we're starting with the feet. The feet are easy. Remember, we've just got to match the colours. We have the fortune of both of the colours on the front of the statue and the back of the statue being the same. So that makes it a little bit easier. So once you've got the bottom of the statue completed, we can now move up to the hand. So for the hand here, we're just filling in the bottom of the hand with our white stained clay. We start here, we match all of the light green sections together. We only have 2 of them. And then we'll take this bottom, where on the back here where we have this single light grey clay, we connect that from the front to the back, and then we can just fill the rest of the arm here in with the white stained clay. That also applies to the top, where we come in by 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, and we'll just end up with something that should look a little bit like that. And those are both sides of the statue completo, guys. That is it. There's nothing more to it. Once you have that taken care of, this is what you want to do next. So we're going to need a little bit of a color swap. We no longer need the dark blue wool. We now want to grab cyan wool. This is for his eyes. We don't actually need to swap any more colors. So once you've got the cyan, did I say cyan or did I say light blue wool? Either way, get rid of your dark blue wool, grab cyan. I can't remember what I just said, silly me. And come all the way up to the top front of your statue. On top of these 8 original blocks of the torso, stack a row of 8 white stained clay. Take that row of 8 white stained clay and extend it towards you by not 1 row, but 2 rows. Then, building up on top of the second row, going from left to right, do 2 white stained clay, 4 black wool, 2 white. Then for the next row, do an entire row of white stained clay. Then for the next 2 rows, do 1 white stained clay, 1 white wool, 1 cyan, 2 white clay, 1 cyan, 1 white wool, 1 white clay. And like I said, that's for 2 rows. So once you've done that once, you guys know what to do. What do? You do it 2 times. So you want to have that. We then do 2 solid rows of white stained clay. That will be 1, and this will be 2. Then, for the next row, do an entire row of black stained clay. That will be John Cena's face. Pretty much him. Once you have that taken care of, we can then move on to the rest of this thing. So, come all the way round to the back of your statue. Where we have this first initial row of white stained clay, extend this, coming over the back of the statue until it overhangs the back of the statue by 2 rows. Overhangs 2 rows because the front of the statue overhangs the front by 2 rows. Makes sense that the back could do the same. Once you have that taken care of, this is what you want to do next. So, on the back of the statue here, take this second most outward row and stack an additional row of white stained clay on top of it. Then take the very left hand blocks and the very right hand blocks and place a white stained clay on top of them. You can then fill in the center of that row with your brown stained clay, and then proceed to do 4 additional rows of brown stained clay. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we just want to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. Finish this off by doing a row of black stained clay to give you something which should look like that. Now come to this side of the head here, and you want to, can you see where we have this white stained clay here on the left hand side of us? Well, go right of this by 1 the white stained clay, go up 1, right 1, up 1, go right until you connect to the face. Fill the lower half of that area in with white stained clay, like, oh my god, I'm doing an awful job of this. Fill it in like that. Then connect the 2 rows of black stained clay, the one on the front and the one at the back together. Then fill the upper area in with brown stained clay. That'll give you something which should look a little bit like this. That is the left hand side, or I guess technically right hand side of John Cena's head. Do that on this side, do that on the other side. So we're now coming to the other side from this white stained clay. Left 1, up 1, left 1, up 1. Go left until we connect to the front of the head. Fill in this side of the head with the white stained clay. Take out the black stained clay, connect the top of the heads together, front and back. Fill in the under part of that with the brown stained clay. Then fill in the very top of the head with the black stained clay, and then that will be a that. So we're just filling this in with the black stained clay right now, and we will be pretty good. So we want to have something which should look a little bit like this. That is John Cena. I don't know why he's looking so dark. I'm guessing it's because the sun is no way near in his direction. Maybe that's the problem. It's all the way over there. But oh, it's to his back. Then what is that? Oh, that's Titan Tower. I thought that was the sun over there, very low in the sky. That's actually Titan Tower, believe it or not. But yeah, the sun's... I could have built this in a better position. But anyway, this is John Cena. Pretty good looking statue, if you ask me. Pretty accurate looking statue. Would go well with the wrestling ring, which I've already made. Link in the card system. If you have enjoyed the statue, if you've managed to make it, I'd really appreciate it if you could give this video a like, a favourite, a share, anything you'd feel like doing to help me out. I would always really appreciate. Feel free to comment down below, let me know what you want me to make next. I don't know whether I'm going to be doing any more wrestling related things. I don't know. I'll have to see how big the demand is. If the demand is there, then perhaps I'll make you guys some stuff. I'll design some stuff, but otherwise I'm going to leave it at that for myself. Check out the card system for the arena that you can see behind us, the wrestling ring. Check it out for the WWE logo. Those are the 3 wrestling related builds that I've made, including John Cena. So like, favorite, share if you wouldn't mind, guys. Really appreciate it. Check out the card system for all of my wrestling related builds, plus possibly more, although I might not bother. Comment down below, do you want more wrestling related stuff? You're gonna have to push for it very hard, guys, because otherwise I probably won't make it of my own volition. So you're gonna have to let me know if there is something you really want. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Like, favorite, share, comments, cards. See you guys in the next video.